Good morning once again. Uh, so number 53, unit number 53, composed upon Westminister Bridge, is a poetry, romantic poetry, and I have given you the example of Okhaldunga also, poetry, Mero Pyaro Okhaldunga. If subject matter of the poetry is based on nature, that is called romantic poetry. Romantic doesn't mean this romance with male and female. It is generally believed that people become happy when they are very close to intimate relation with nature. They become happy. And in English, it is said that beauty lies in the eyes of beholder. You have heard the song by Ani Choin, Fulko Akhama, Fulai Sansara, like that. If you have eyes to see beauty, everything is beautiful. If your eyes are ugly, then if your eyes cannot see beauty, then nothing is beautiful in the world. This is the poem that talks about beauty of London, especially Westminister Bridge. You can see the bridge here. It has traditional architecture. Still, you can see here some picture scene of that bridge and scene of the bridge. From the bridge also, at the time when Wordsworth wrote this poetry, there was beautiful scene. But the situation, the scene cannot be same right now. For example, Kathmandu was so beautiful in the past. Right now, you can simply see only houses everywhere. This can be the situation of London right now, because I'm saying can be because I haven't been there. So, but as I said earlier also, when you have to perceive, realize certain beauty, you need to have such eyes. Not only for human being, for nature also, right? But it is true that when we get chance to live in the nature, in the surrounding of nature, we really feel fresh, romantic. That can be one of the theme mentioned here. So you might have heard about William Wordsworth, renowned romantic poetry writer. He was born in 1770. I've written 80, but I have found 70 here. In our book also it is given 70, right? Like our Lekhnath Paudel, right? He follows the patterns of writing. He writes in rhyme, some sort of rhyme, right? We call chanda in our Nepali. It was written on the 3rd of September in the year 1803. See, 200 years ago, right? The scene, the situation is really different now. 200 years ago, you can see, you can imagine our Kathmandu also. A similar fate can have London right now. That breeze of that place, Westminster. So it simply talks about how beautiful was that breeze and the scene you could see from that bridge. So it has some political significance also, right? It was written at the time of Napoleon era, and it was a period of history in France and the rest of Europe from 1799 to 1815, right? It might help to understand this. So I'm not going to talk about this in detail. Let's see what is the theme. It is a sonnet. I'll talk what is a sonnet later, right? And reflect the romantic belief that beauty is a perpetual source of joy and relaxation, as I said earlier, right? Whenever you see something beautiful, you feel why happy, that means you feel relaxed. As the kid says, John Keats says, a thing of beauty is a joy forever. Or as I said earlier also, the beauty lies in the eyes of beholder, right? These two things are complementary. If you are pessimistic, nothing is beautiful. And if you are optimistic, everything is. But one thing is confirm that beauty is the source of joy also and relaxation also. Beauty makes us happy. That is the common theme mentioned here. So the meaning of composed upon Westminister Bridge is at first straightforward, the beauty of London. Sorry. As I said earlier also, this bridge is in London. So you might have heard Kantipuri Nagari by Bhanubhakta, right? Similarly, this poetry was written perceiving the beauty of London city, not only the bridge. From bridge, the beautiful scene of London could be seen, can be seen right now as well. That's why it is about beauty of London's. And in the end, that's the meaning of poem. However, there is a few other lesser meaning as well, right? We can see other meaning as well. So the theme is beauty of London. The theme is beauty as the source of joy and relaxation. Can go through the other remaining line here. It is not so much important for us. Let's talk about, in short, about structure and rhythm. Is a Petrarchian sonnet and comprised of octet. I'll say what is octet and sestet. 8 line and 6 line. That means, of course, there are 8 lines. At the end, there are 6 line. And it has rhyming pattern. Look at here, A, B, B, A, B, B, A. It means rhyming. A and A has a type of rhyme, and B will have another type of, or has another type of rhyming. That's the thing. Again, here, D, E, D, E, D, E means there is a rhyming between first line and second line and third line, right? And third line, etc. with other. In this way, there is a rhyming pattern. I will show this later also. Don't worry. And another specialties is that it has iambic pentameter, is a technical term. You don't know. And each line consists 10 syllables. One line contains 10 syllables, right? And half of them being long and heavy syllables. You don't know about long and this heavy syllable, right? And followed by 5 short syllables. This is technicality. You don't need to know. But I'll talk about what is octet and sestet. Altogether, sonnet means 14 lines poetry. You need to know this one. Sonnet means there should be 14 lines and 10 syllable per line here, and specific rhyming scheme as I showed you earlier. And there are 2 types of English and Italian. Petrarchian means Italian sonnets. And in Italian sonnet, to get here the structure given here, as I said earlier, here's a poem I'll show you. Structure means you can see, look at here. It's not so important though. This pair has rhyming pattern with where. Look, with this. This means red. This is called air. A. Another. A, B has no other meaning, only similarity. It shows similarity and differences. B. With this. By, I, and majesty. E. By, majesty. E. And here, where, bear, and air. Right? Look at here. Has one type of rhyming pattern, and BB, right? They have another. That is the thing. Like similarly, C has one other and D has another. This is called rhyming pattern in English. The technical thing, so not so much important for you. Let me go back again. Imagery. Imagery means poetic devices. There are so many poetic devices. I will talk about some of them later, right? And you can go through, you can pause and see if you want to go to the poetry in detail, right? I have mentioned here detail. Tone, peaceful, amazed, positive. For example, fair, touching, majesty. This was this. Similarly, bright, glittering, smokeless, river glides, mighty heart, right? This was that. A sort of peace, amazing thing, and positive attitudes are there because there are positive word, right? Word that makes us amazed and peaceful as well. Again, language, right? Simile on 4 line. Simile means comparison. Indirect comparison. Simile means personification means London as a person. In line 5, 9, and 12, London has been just considered as a person. And metaphor 10. Metaphor means direct comparison. This is figurative language. If you have some idea, I have shown this earlier as well. Rhyming schemes are there. EME pentameter is used. Let's go through the poem. As I said, here the beauty of London has been explained sitting on the bridge of London, that is Westminister Bridge. So that's why its name is composed upon the Westminister Bridge. So look at here. Earth has not anything to show more fair. Dull would he be, fool who could pass by. A sight so touching in its majesty. This city now doth like a garment wear. Hold me. Anybody call? Wait. I forgot to. The messenger was on, that's why somebody called me. I don't know who they were. Okay. Let's go further. Earth has not anything to show. More fair means from the London, from the breeze, London was fair. It was clear, beautiful, that means. And dull, you would be a fool who could pass by. If somebody passes through London right now, this time is morning, early in the morning. You can see early in the morning, right? The scene of each and every place would be beautiful. Similarly, this is the early in the morning. The poet is on the Westminster Bridge and he is preceding the beauty of London. It is in it is across the Thames River. We call Thames River, right? Thames River. So from the bridge, the poet could see very beautiful scene, fair scene of London. And at the same time, if you pass through that place, that bridge, and if you cannot realize the real beauty of London, you would be dull. You don't have eyes to see the beauty, that a sight so touching in its majesty. The sight of London, scene of London is majestic. Majestic. What does majestic mean? Very impressive, very attractive, very beautiful. That means the city now doth like a garment wear. The beauty of morning, silent, bare, ships, tower, dome, theatre, temple lie upon open onto the fields and the sky. Right now, doth means does. The city now does like a garment, means it is like in a beautiful garment, clothes, you can say. You believe that? London has worn, the city London has worn beautiful dress, garment. And right now, the situation is what? It is early in the morning, as I said earlier. Beauty of the morning, silent, bare, nobody is there. No human being, no buses, no cars, no human being, nothing, no mobility at all. Bare, khali. Ships, tower, theater and temple lie, right? Everything, even ships, towers, domes, theater and temple, right? Everything is what? Silent now. It's not moving because peoples are asleep. They haven't woken up. That means, and open onto the field. Field is also open into the sky. It means everything is open. Above this thing, you can see sky. In the surrounding of London or in the London, everything's are asleep. Human beings are also asleep and things are also silent. Temple also, theater also, domes also, tower also, ships, everything. That means all bright and glittering in the smokeless air, right? You can see Kathmandu is right now not polluted, so much polluted. No smoke so much, no crowd so much. That's why smokeless. All bright and glittering. Glittering means shining. Bright also shining also. It means poet can see everything of London bright and shining because there is no smoke and there are no people and there is no crowd. That's why. Never did the sun more beautifully steep in his first splendor, valley, rock or hill. And right now, because of smokeless air, because of lack of crowd and people in the city, he sees what? Steep rays of sun, direct rays of sun in London. And you can see the first ray. If you are nearby, for example, Bhupesh is in Charikot, right? When the sun for the first time rises, you can see beautiful rays on the Himalayas ranges, like a golden rays. So he compares that first rays of sun with splendor, in his first splendor, right? Splendor means really beautiful, really attractive. So here, the first time, the poet has realized that the rising sun, the rays of rising suns are really beautiful for him. It was splendid, grand, impressive. He sees where valley also, rock also, hills also, as I said. I have seen this situation. For example, when the rays of sun, first rays of sun falls on mountain, right? It's really beautiful. So you cannot compare such beauty with anything else. That's why the poet says, in this smokeless morning time, silent time, beer time, the first rays of sun in the London city, on the valley, rocks, hill, was really impressive, beautiful, attractive. So never shy, never felt a calm so deep. It means he, he had gone through London. He had been through London many times. But what happened? He had never seen. You know that beauty is very difficult to see. You need to have eyes. And when we see something, if it is beautiful, right? Or you have, I mean, your mood also to see beauty. You need time also. You need such type of time also, or occasion also to see beauty. So it is morning time. Only on this morning, in this morning, he has seen beauty. Never I saw, never felt a calm so deep. Means he had never felt this type of calm beauty of London city earlier. So the river glides at its own sweet will. River, Thames is, as I said earlier, Thames River. You know that all the civilization, behind all the civilization, right? What is there? There's a hand of river. So Kathmandu Valley was somehow established because of Bagmati River, right? Likewise, London civilization or the population of London increases because of the Thames River. So he says that the river glides at his own sweet will. And early in the morning, river was also moving ahead, gliding, that means flowing, that means, and on its own will, right? There were no human being, no ship, no boat, maybe nothing else. That's why it was going ahead. It was flowing, moving on its own will. Will means ichaya, jhana. Dear God, the very houses seem asleep. All of the houses, almost all of the houses. Houses means people of that house. They were asleep. And all that mighty heart is lying still. Your mighty heart, mighty means big. Heart means London, not a human being. All that mighty heart, London city, under London, everything comes. Maybe things also, human beings also, everything. So an almighty heart is lying still, not moving, sleeping. It means right now I am perceiving the beauty of London. Beauty is majestic, impressive, grand, but I can see the whole city sleeping, lying. That's why he says that London city from this breeze, Westminister Bridge, seems really beautiful. But to see that beauty of London from that bridge, you need to have eyes. You need to be at the morning time, right? In the morning time, not at the morning. In the morning time, you need to be there. He says. So this is the this was my interpretation. Let me go to the summary. It's only one page. Again, let's look at this. In composed upon Westminster Bridge, the poet is crushing Westminster Bridge into London during the early morning. Wordsworth loved nature, but finds the beauty clear scene of London skylines spread before him while he crushes the breeze as a quiet and lovely as anything to be found in nature. The city is serene in the early morning, not at awaken. He marvels over how still it is. It means early in the morning, the poet is crossing the bridge of London, that is Westminister Bridge. As all the peoples are asleep, he sees really impressive, beautiful scene of London, and the city London itself, what is asleep. More specifically, in the first three lines, Wordsworth says the city is so beautiful, fair, that you would have to be a very person, dull of soul, that means not to respond to its beauty. The next lines, he says the city wears its silent beauty like a garment laid on it, and its sea, domes, towers stand out bright and glittering in the clear air. It means in other lines, two lines, uh, in the first three lines, he talks about beauty, and then onward, what he talks about, the situation of the thing, and he also observes and forecasts that if somebody cannot see the beauty, he or she would be dull of soul. That means next two lines, note the sunlight falling on as beauty on the city as it would on a part of nature, be it rocks, valley, or hills. As I said, the first rays of sun on anything, not only mountain, not only hill, not only valley, it looks beautiful. This thing, how the city of London looked at the time when the first rays of sun fall upon it. The scene, the thing has been mentioned here, then onward. And he has mentioned, dear God, the very houses seem asleep, and all that mighty heart is lying still. He says he is but summoning the God. It means he feels himself proud of getting such opportunity. Maybe he wants to give this credit to the God. That can be one reason. Or he is expressing his surprise. That can be another reason. So, in this way, right, he has given the explanation of happiness, express the happiness after seeing London, and maybe indirectly the poet wants to request people to appreciate the beauty of nature. And he also says that our happiness, our joys, etc. are linked with nature. If you cannot see the natural beauty, then you are dull of your soul. You are a very callous person. That means, according to the poet William Wordsworth. I have shown you this analysis. I said earlier as well. So I'm not going to read out this all. I have analyzed myself. We can pause here. 1, 2, only two pages are here. You can pause, right? This first, the second. So to conclude, to summarize this poem, what we can say is that the poet indirectly asks us to love nature and says that nothing is more beautiful than nature. And to see such beauty of nature, we need eyes. That is the main theme, in my opinion. But in the poem, he explained London city from Westminister Bridge. It's a morning time, so everything seemed calm, silent, and nobody is there. So it was really beautiful then. And then onward, he says that you need to have eyes to see those things. And similarly, he talks about the thing of London, or how the thing in London things in London look like when there are no people. And he also talks about the scene when the first rays of sun fall on the thing of London. And similarly, he talks about the river Thames at the time. And he really feels fascinated when the whole London is asleep, lying. This is the poem. If you have any question, you can ask me. कसैको केही भन्नु छ यो कविताको बारेमा? You have any question?